I am Melanie Weller, and I have not been on YouTube in a while. And I know some of you know me through my vagus nerve work. And I am this year for 2022, I am teaching more, I have a vagus nerve course that I have credentialed in Louisiana where I live for physical therapists, and then getting it credentialed in more places to teach the fundamentals of that to healthcare professionals. But beyond that, I really want to take this vagus nerve work into some much more exciting places, or places that at least are much more exciting for me, because for all of my work using vagus nerve techniques to shift range of motion, pain, and sharing, and I can rationalize all of that because it shares the same neurotransmitter as the muscles. And there's all sorts of great vagus nerve science. And I'm so excited that so much of it is caught up, because I have been screaming vagus nerve into the wind for easily 15 years and really have been using it in my practice much, much longer than that, but I've really had it as a strong focus of my work for the last 15 years. And, but for all of the science that's out there, I don't think those physical issues are really why any of it works. Not that they're not true, but two pieces of research that I think are really start to give some clues as to why the vagus nerve is really so powerful are that it helps to remap the brain at the highest levels, at the cortical levels. And that when solar and space weather disrupt the electromagnetic field of the earth, it's measurable in your vagus nerves. And the extent to which it's disruptive depends on the strength of your interpersonal connections. And so to me, the vagus nerve isn't just this wandering nerve that does a lot of things in your body. That's the biggest part of your parasympathetic nervous system. It's the consciousness nerve. And in nearly 30 years of treating patients and collecting credentials and specializing in the people that nobody else had been able to help, that what I've created is, or what I've realized that I've created is not just a system about treating the vagus nerve as a pinched nerve, but a system for treating consciousness itself. And I'm going to talk more about how I integrate the cosmology and mythology and story into it as well. But that's fundamentally what all of this is, and that the vagus nerve is the bridge between us and consciousness, or between our bodies and consciousness, between our stories and our bodies. And our stories are really part of our consciousness. And so improving your performance, whether you're recovering from a physical pain, emotional pain, business pain, or the pain of your holiday visitors, perhaps, since we're just before Christmas 2021 here, that all requires a consciousness shift. And improving performance, for having a breakthrough, for having bigger impact with your work, with your art, with your voice, also requires a consciousness shift. It's just, you're just shifting from a different point on the spectrum, whether you're looking for, whether you have a physical pain or whether you're looking for more of a performance breakthrough in terms of impact and money and things like that. But it's all the same, it's all on the same continuum. And your brain sees all of those limitations the exact same way. Your brain sees physical pain and emotional pain exactly the same way. There's the research is very clear that the medical research says that imaging studies and pain are very poorly correlated. So you can have a really terrible arthritic X-ray, you can have disc herniation, you can have all sorts of adverse or, things like X-ray and MRI findings that we collectively accept as being associated with pain. But the research says that's not true. So why is that? Well, pain is a state of consciousness. Fear is a state of consciousness. Success is a state of consciousness. And the vagus nerve is the superhighway to the state of consciousness that you desire. Personally, my ongoing consciousness shift is to step out of the dark and into the spotlight and help others do the same. The universe has made that clear all along, and I just kept refusing to shift my consciousness, even when A-list Hollywood celebrities literally walked into their office and sent their friends here too. For me, it's easier to stay hidden in the comforts of physical therapy research, in the comforts of my office that doesn't have a sign out front, hidden from bigger success. My dad was a CIA agent, so I am super comfortable being undercover and flying below the radar. And if I needed any more comfort in that space, my name, Melanie, literally means clad in black. And I have lived hidden and invisible for the vast majority of my life. That's clearly not that's not what wants to happen. That's not what I want to happen. And so getting this video out and rebranding and restarting my podcast and all sorts of things are part of stepping into my own spotlight. Deep down, I always knew I was meant for something bigger, and I know you do too. And healthcare as a whole is meant for something bigger. Certainly my profession of physical therapy, I believe, is too. And what I really want to do is see how easy we can make healing. I know how to change, to pick one person out of a room of people and shift them, and then the whole room shifts. And so I really love doing these consciousness demonstrations, and with COVID and my own issues, I just haven't done them in a long time, but I am going to restart that as well. And so, when I work with vocalists and artists, I want to see how, really what kind of a physical evidence-based impact we can create with our voices, with our art, and how can we make life easier for the collective rather than staying in our wounds. And so I'm super excited to tell you all more about this, how you can do this, and how we can all make it fun and light, and that healing doesn't have to be this terrible, heavy thing, and that we can use our voices in our work to really amplify the world in the best possible way. Thank you for listening, and I look forward to sharing more with you soon.